This phone screen is exactly 0.1 inches bigger than its predecessor. What's up everybody, Blood Moon Bobby here, and I'm finally back with videos. This week has kind of been crazy for me because I've been doing live streams over at my live stream channel. Yesterday, from the time I'm filming this video right now, I was doing a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate discussion with my cousin Andrew Ogata and my journalism friend Ross Sev, and then today I did a live discussion of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 Unpacked event while doing a bingo game, just trying to guess the different features that were coming to this phone. I'll post the results of that game in this video. So it's just been really crazy, and combined with the fact that I haven't been able to get a lot of sleep lately, just every time I would just come back from a discussion, I would just kind of make breakfast, and then I would just end up taking a nap, and I wouldn't have much time to do research for my videos. So honestly, that's where I've been, but I'm glad that now I'm able to get started working on my regular videos again. And indeed, we are looking at the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 in this video, and no, I'm not joking. The screen is literally 0.1 inch a 0.1 inch larger than last year. Like, literally, the Galaxy Note 8 had a 6.3 inch Super AMOLED screen. This year's Galaxy Note 9 has a 6.4 inch Super AMOLED screen. And of course, like its predecessor, the screen is near bezel-less, and it's the kind of near bezel-less I like, where there is no notch like on the iPhone 10. And personally, I'm sure there's people out there that have phones with notches and they got used to it, but I like to be able to use as much of the screen as possible, like if I'm watching movies or watching YouTube videos, because isn't that the point of buying a larger screen phone? The Galaxy Note 9 has a Snapdragon 845 processor, just like the Galaxy S9, which I want to address something, because I personally believe what matters most in any smartphone upgrade is a new processor and the new version of the operating system it runs. I know there's people out there that especially get on Apple's case for saying, oh, every iPhone feels the same. And I think it's more of an industry-wide problem in general. And unfortunately, the thing about it is, we honestly just can't expect the smartphone manufacturers to make a jump like when we went from using Blackberries to the original iPhone back in 2007. Like, it just is impossible, and I think that's the issue that's going on. But I think what's most important is the processor upgrade and an operating system upgrade. And while the Note 9 does have a new processor, same one that's in the S9, unfortunately the Note 9 comes with Android Oreo out of the box rather than the newest version of Android Pie, which you can actually get a near finalized version right now for the Google Pixel phones. So hopefully that upgrade will come somewhere down the line. I'm guessing it'll be early 2019. I would say maybe later this year, but I'm kind of trying to be realistic in my expectations. Other features the Note 9 has, it does have a similar stereo speaker system to the S9, where it's not front-firing stereo speakers. Instead, it's kind of like my iPhone 7, where the earpiece and the bottom-firing speaker work as stereo speakers. I will say, I think there's definitely a noticeable difference in terms that it sounds a bit more detailed than just having one rear-firing speaker. I tested comparing my iPhone SE to my iPhone 7. I still kind of prefer they were both front-firing speakers, and considering that the Galaxy Note 9 has nothing on the bottom chin of the phone, I think they could have placed an extra speaker there, but I don't know, maybe we'll just have to see that in the Galaxy S10 next year. This one, I'm kind of surprised it didn't make as much headlines, but it's kind of an insignificant feature anyway. They moved the fingerprint sensor from being to the right of the camera to being right below the camera of the Galaxy Note 9. I know last year people complained that because the placement of the fingerprint sensor meant that you could accidentally smudge up the camera. And I think that happened to me. I was testing out, I believe it was either the S8 or the Note 8 at a Best Buy, and I kind of had that problem where I was trying to reach for the fingerprint sensor, but I was touching the camera lens instead. But because it's below the cameras this time, there shouldn't be that problem. And speaking of the cameras, the Galaxy Note 9 does have two 12 megapixel cameras, and just like the S9, the wide angle lens has two apertures. You could either choose an f1.5 or an f2.4 aperture. So basically meaning if you pick the f1.5 aperture, the lens is going to let in a lot more light, which really help for low light shots. The Galaxy Note 9 will also support Samsung DeX, although this time you actually don't need a docking station accessory. You can actually just get a cable. I think it's a specific kind of cable you're going to have to get from Samsung, but maybe third-party companies will release their own. And you just plug the Galaxy Note 9 into like a TV or monitor using this cable, and out comes this desktop computer looking interface. I'll try to have some images in this video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It kind of looks like a Windows looking interface. So I honestly think that can really come in handy for, I don't know about really like hardcore creative people. Not trying to sound elitist, but I don't know if the Galaxy Note 9 is going to be able to handle like really intense projects like video projects like I do on my MacBook Pro, and the mobile versions of the Adobe apps aren't quite don't have all the features their computer counterparts have. But I could definitely see for like somebody going to school and they're mainly studying something where they don't need really intense hardware, like if they're going home and they need to type like a report or they need to make a Google Slides presentation, I think that could actually come in handy for these people. The Galaxy Note 9 has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. This was one of the most touted features of the Galaxy Note 9 when Samsung was teasing about it. This is a bigger battery than in last year's Galaxy Note 8. The Galaxy Note 8 had a 3,300 milliamp battery in comparison. And I know there's a lot of people out there that really hate how nowadays a lot of these flagship phones, you can't take the back off of them like you could in smartphones of the past. And even though, yeah, it's definitely annoying, especially down the line when you want to replace batteries, but I will say one of the benefits of a sealed up phone is that there's more space to play with, because you're not making space for like a removable door or those clips for a removable back. So you have more space to put in a new battery, and I think that's what they did with the Galaxy Note 9 in order to squeeze in this battery. Samsung touts this as a all-day long-lasting battery. We'll have to wait and see tests from reviewers to see if it truly is a long-lasting battery. To me, a good smartphone battery should at the very least last a full day, or I would even like it if you could have like a smartphone where it lasts a full day, but you do have some juice left over in case you forget to charge. I currently haven't owned a smartphone that has that kind of a battery, but I definitely remember having that kind of a battery life on my Nintendo DSi, so I'd like to see maybe one day a smartphone coming out with that. When it comes to battery life expectations, I think some expectations can get a little unrealistic. Like I remember with the Nexus 6P, the Verge reviewer Dieter Bohn was like, I wish I had a smartphone that could have a battery that lasts for 2 or even 3 days, but I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. So I think as long as it lasts a full day, hey, I think that's a really good smartphone battery. And in terms of storage, the Note 9 will either come in 128GB or 512GB variants. And the nice thing, like previous Samsung phones, is even if you get the 128GB version, you can upgrade using a micro SD card slot. The Galaxy Note 9 will take up to a 512GB micro SD card. And I do want to make a correction in my live stream only because it was really confusing the way Samsung worded it. They said you could store up to 1TB of storage on the phone. What they're referring to is if you get the 512GB version of the Galaxy Note 8, you can add an additional 512GB through micro SD card, and hence you would get a little over 1TB of storage. So that's what they were referring to. I thought they meant that you could add like a 1TB micro SD card when those memory cards come out, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. So just have to keep that in mind. But I still think 128GB, if I was going to buy a Galaxy Note 9, that would be the one to go for. Not only because it's the cheaper product, but also 128GB, even if I just relied on that alone and didn't upgrade, I think that would be more than enough space. And, this is a very interesting, the Note 9's S Pen, and usually, I always thought the S Pen was kind of cool, but I kind of question how usable it is. And this year may actually be the first time where I'm actually kind of convinced, hey, the Samsung Galaxy S Pen might actually be useful, and that is because you can use the S Pen for things. Well, first of all, I should say the S Pen utilizes Bluetooth low energy, so it's not going to use as much power as before. But the really cool thing about this S Pen is you could actually use it as kind of a remote control. Like, you could use it for looking at my notes on my MacBook Pro. You can use it to pause and play music. When they were showing the Samsung Unpacked presentation, the guy was literally using the S Pen to click through the slides, like to go from one slide to another, and you can also use it as a remote control for taking selfies. So I honestly think that's really cool. I do kind of wonder what happens. Are people going to end up losing the S Pen a lot? Like, that's honestly, as a person who's lost a lot of Nintendo DS and 3DS styluses or styli over the years, it makes me kind of concerned, and especially since the S Pen has a lot more features than a standard stylus, it's kind of alarming to me. If you're a user of a S Pen on your Galaxy Note of pretty much any generation, please let me know if it's something that you have a tendency of losing. I'm not totally in the Steve Jobs mindset of, bleh, who needs a stylus? Because I know there's people out there, my sister included, that want to have a stylus because it's much more precise for things like drawing. The only problem is it's something that you could lose, especially, and I'm a person who can be pretty absent-minded. Other features the Galaxy Note 9 has, I'll include more in a graphic next to me, but other features include Samsung Pay, IP68 water resistance, and a headphone jack. Thank you, Samsung. I really have to say, I keep seeing in a lot of videos, I cannot get used to the whole idea of smartphones without a headphone jack. As a person with an iPhone 7, I find that incredibly annoying because even though it comes with a headphone adapter in the box, I've lost it quite a few times and I had to buy a new one. And the thing about the one on the iPhones is that its headphone adapter is pretty fragile, so if you're one of those people that constantly has to buy new earbuds all the time because they break very often, you're also going to have to buy those pretty often. So it's really annoying when smartphone manufacturers take the headphone jack away. I did try to live in the world of using like lightning earbuds or wireless earbuds, and I will say when I do use wireless earbuds, it is kind of cool, but the thing about wireless earbuds is that they have batteries and the batteries die, and what are you going to do when the battery dies? You're going to have to resort to wired earbuds again. So I'm really glad Samsung is not taking that away. With each passing year, I frankly worry that Samsung is going to take it away because even though, yes, it's pro-consumer, Samsung is a company after all, and we did see even Google took the headphone jack away from the Google Pixel 2, so I'm really glad Samsung is keeping it in. In terms of pricing, the Galaxy Note 9 will cost $1,000! Literally, $999.99 for the 128GB variant. The 512GB variant will cost $1,249.99, so $1,250, so not cheap. They're pretty much, although at least as of last year, even the Android manufacturers started going down this really expensive route. So, yep, the Galaxy Note 9 is going to cost as much as an iPhone 10. I guess the thing that sucks is, at least with something like the iPhone 10, as a person who, well, actually, I was just about to say, because in the case of the iPhone 10, I would probably buy an iPhone 8 instead. Me personally, I think I would go for Galaxy S9, but that's personal preference, because I'm not a person that really likes having a gigantic screen. But I really think, if you do need a giant screen and you like these S Pen features, the Galaxy Note 9 does sound like a pretty cool phone. And I'm definitely going to try it out when it comes out at like a Best Buy. And speaking of a release date, the Galaxy Note 9 will come out on August 24th. Pre-orders will start at 12:01 a.m. on August the 10th. And the 4 colors you can get for the Galaxy Note 9 are metallic black, lavender purple, ocean blue, and metallic copper. And all these versions will have S Pens in matching colors, although the ocean blue variant will come with the much touted yellow S Pen. So just letting you know about that. So overall, I will say the Galaxy Note 9 is definitely an impressive sounding phone. While it's not the big upgrade, I will say that the upgrades that it does have, it pretty much ticks off the most important upgrades I think every smartphone should have, even though it's not going to have Android Pie out of the box. I'm pretty positive that it will get Android Pie sometime down the line, hopefully sooner than later. I do have to raise the question, though, in terms of, while I don't think the Galaxy Note 9 is going to be a bad phone, it does make me wonder, is Samsung going to continue having a Note line, or are they going to release Galaxy Notes? Because up until this point, Samsung has a tendency of releasing their flagship S phones like the S8 and S9 in the spring, and their Note phones usually come out toward the end of the year. I do kind of wonder if maybe with the S10 they're going to start releasing both phones at the exact same time, much like how Apple releases both their standard phone with their phablet at the same time, and Google does the same thing, only because Samsung has been making Plus versions of their standard phones, and it's kind of redundant. Like, why are you going to release a Plus version when you have the Galaxy Note with the stylus? So I'm not really sure if the Galaxy Note line is ever going to go away. I know this year's sales are pretty much going to be a telling tale as far as whether the Note will stick around, but what I think Samsung could do is maybe going forward they'll release both their standard S phone, like maybe the S10, with the Galaxy Note at the same time. So maybe next year they'll announce something like the Galaxy S10 and the Galaxy Note 10 at the same time, maybe next spring at the Mobile World Congress show. Or they're going to do something like make an S10 and an S10 Plus, and that S10 Plus will include a stylus. So we'll have to wait and see. I definitely don't want to see the Galaxy Note as a phone go away, but its future, only because of the products Samsung also has in their lineup, do make me question whether they're going to get rid of the Galaxy Note or they're just going to release the Notes at the same time as their standard S phones. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby. Please let me know your thoughts about the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Do you think it's going to be cool? Would you rather get something like the Galaxy S9 instead? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any ideas for videos, feel free to email me. I'll have my email address in the description, and thank you all for watching. Hey guys, be sure to like this Blood Moon Bobby video if you enjoyed it. Please share this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Be sure to ring the notification bell to be notified about my latest upload. Follow me on my social media pages at Blood Moon Bobby to find out about what I'll be covering next and for more of my opinions. Thanks for watching.